Why did the Gospels say that Jesus had brothers and sisters? The first thing we've got to remember is the church has this tradition of Mary being virgin before, during, and after her virginity. And so very often Protestants will say, there's one passage where it says Joseph took her into her house and they did not have relations until she gave birth to her firstborn son. Well, they say, see, so afterwards they did, because it says until this happened. Well, yeah, but the Bible also says, there's someone in the Bible, and it says she did not have children until the day she died. Well, if you're going by that method, then she had children after her death. The real reason the Bible says that Jesus had brothers and sisters, the problem is, in Hebrew or Aramaic, there's no word for close male relative or close female relative. And so you're basically called a brother because you are the nephew or the stepbrother or the cousin or someone. And so therefore, since there are no Aramaic words for that, they're all called brothers. The other argument could be St. Paul and the apostles. They talk about the brotherhood of the apostles. Well, the apostles weren't brothers, but they were brothers in the Lord. So that's another reason for arguing for that they're brothers. There's two very important biblical sort of texts that also tell us this kind of system. One is from the book of Exodus, and it goes back to the time of Abraham and Lot. And Lot was Abraham's nephew. But at some point when Lot and Abraham are looking at their flocks and they say there's not enough forage here for two flocks. So Abraham says, if you go one way, I'll go the other. If you go north, I'll go south. And he says, let's not fight because we are brothers. When really they weren't brothers, they were like uncle and nephew. The other question is, in ancient Palestine, the relationship of family, your family was one of the most important things. If Jesus had other brothers, when he was hanging on the cross and he said to John, behold your mother, behold your son, that would have been like the very height of rudeness, because Jesus was saying, I don't want my brothers taking care of mom. I want this sort of stranger, one of my apostles, one of my disciples to take care of her. That whole idea that Mary had nobody else. And remember, there was no Social Security, there was no, widows' pensions. Widows would have had to either depend on their family or beg. So those are the reasons why, scripturally speaking, we argue that Mary was a virgin before, during, and after, because that was sort of the tradition that was passed down. And given the way the scriptures are read back then, not necessarily today, that's how they would have been read.